Good morning, Washington! How you doing, everybody? It's the 31st of March. Feels like about the 31st of February. Of course, there's no 31st of February. Just touching up the badass look here. I'm gonna get a tattoo right across my forehead here. What should I get? I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Anyhow, cold day. It's the start of the baseball season today for the Nationals. I'm doing this at about 12:30, so the pregame show should be coming up pretty soon. As we've reported, there's a new flagship station for the Nationals. WJFK will be running the games this year, so there'll be an FM. So coverage of the games will be great in Virginia. You'll be able to get them all the way down to Richmond and Harrisonburg and Winchester and all that. And then the games will also be on WFED 1500 and 820 a.m. So they're good coverage in Maryland and through Baltimore. So the Nationals have a really, really, really good radio deal this year, unlike last year. So that will be cool. So we shall see. I presume the game will be played. It's just damp and drizzly out there today. Tip of the old noggin to Farley Granger. Passed away the other day. Saw his obit in the Post today. Really great actor in some great movies, particularly for Alfred Hitchcock. He did 2 films for Hitchcock. Rope, here with Jimmy Stewart. And he did Strangers on a Train. Which is a really good movie. If you want to see Washington, a lot of this movie was set in Washington. I don't know if it was actually, some of it was shot down on the Mall. I'm pretty sure because there were some scenes around the Lincoln Memorial. But this is one of those. If you're into Washington in the 50s, good movie here. The whole movie takes place in the Washington kind of northeast corridor up there, up to New York, and the bad guy in this movie. Oh, who is that? Robert Walker. Robert Walker is another brilliant actor. He died many, many years ago. He was a very tragic life. But Robert Walker played kind of the bad guy in this movie. And he lives, in this movie, he lives in a big old creepy house in Arlington. So good place for creepy houses there. All right, I was looking through some of my old archives today, and I found a really cool collection. This is from 1990. This is back when Mayor Barry was getting busted for the crack cocaine stuff in the hotel and all that. This was when they released the tape to the media. And check out some of these reporters.
So they took his blood pressure and everything. Okay, now just moments ago, Louis Farrakhan, minister from the Nation of Islam, came out in front of the courthouse. He held a brief news conference in which he said that the mayor did not ask him to be here. He came with a dozen or so of his supporters.
A very young Chris Gordon there.
This is a public courthouse, and he said, if the truth be known, there are skeletons even in President Bush's closet. Now, Bruce Johnson has just come out of the courthouse with this to say.
That's because Louis Farrakhan won't be going in to Judge Thomas Benton.
A very young Bruce Johnson there.
Or as long as this trial is going on. Ken Mundy, the
we're talking 21 years ago. This is 21 years ago.
Court resumed following the showing of the tape. He said to Judge Jackson that the mayor's defense team has 4 passes. Someone is willing to give up one of his passes to allow Louis Farrakhan to come in and sit to observe the trial. The judge said, no way. The judge said, quote, Louis Farrakhan's presence would be disruptive and intimidating. He said Louis Farrakhan is barred henceforth for the duration of this trial. To that, Kenneth Mundy indicated that he would include that in his appeal. The judge says you may take it to the Court of Appeals. Ken Mundy then said, I'd like to go outside and inform Mr. Farrakhan of your decision.
Let's flip this ahead. I want you to see somebody else here who looks very young. Look at this. Hold on.
Joining me now is Greta Van Susteren, who is a defense lawyer and an adjunct professor at Georgetown University Law School, to discuss the videotape, and she has a transcript of it, which she has reviewed. First of all, if you'll tell us, what is the legal definition of entrapment?
Basically, what it means is that the mayor wouldn't have committed the offense but for the actions of the government, that he wasn't predisposed to commit the offense, and that the government overborne his will.
All right, now you've seen the tape, you've seen the transcript. What legal conclusions do you draw?
Well, it's going to be a tough contest for Mr. Mundy. He's a very clever lawyer, and there are instances in which the mayor says that he doesn't want to do the drugs, but it's going to be tough for the mayor because the transcript is pretty overwhelming, and the words of the mayor in the videotape are perhaps more powerful, especially since his actions are that he goes up to get the drugs himself, and there really isn't that much duress evident in the tape. But Mr. Mundy...
Anyhow, very cool there. That's Greta Van Susteren. She used to work for Channel 9. She used to be their legal expert. And then I think she went over to CNN for a while. And then she went to Fox News. That was back pre-several facelifts, I think. All right, folks. What do we got for the big news today? The big news is the media. It's interesting how the media has finally found the Jen Royal suit against... Nasty Nestor over there at WNST. That was actually filed on the 11th or so, or 11th of March, and it wasn't until DCR-TV publicized it yesterday that all of a sudden the media said, gee, the Baltimore Sun and the Baltimore Business Journal and a bunch of other pubs decided we better cover this. It's interesting. You think somebody would have gotten it before, 2 weeks ago or something. But obviously, the news media reads DCR-TV. Granted, we didn't really break the story because Nasty Nestor posted it on his website yesterday, WNST.net. But, interesting. Some interesting commentary. News Blues, which is a site I like a lot. It covers a lot of the TV news stuff. I don't know why they covered this because it isn't a TV story, but they said that it looks like Jen's got a pretty good case because there was some very nasty stuff, very derogatory stuff posted by some of Nestor's comrades on his website there. DCR-TV has a thing with our mailbag. We let people have freedom to say stuff, but if somebody, says something's tasteless in almost every case, and if we get the complaint from the person who it's about, almost always, I always pull stuff. If any question about anything being tasteless or whatever, it always gets yanked. So, maybe Nestor ought to take a little bit of a better look at some of his policies there at his website. I don't know. Anywho, dooby-doo. What else is going on in the big news today? Juan Williams heard on WMAL this morning. He's one of the many commentators on the Morning Majority Show, the post-Fred Grandy Morning Majority Show that's hosted by Brian Neiman with a series of rotating co-hosts. Be interesting to see if they ever decide to actually get a regular morning show going on the station. Some of the co-hosts are quite good, actually, but it doesn't sound like WMAL's in any rush to actually get a firm morning team going to have Brian Neiman with, 2 or 3 other people every morning. So that seems to be what they're doing. All right, folks, I'm going to be flipping over to catch the, what time is it? Okay, we got 8 minutes. Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm going to go catch the first few minutes of the Nationals game and see what's going on there, and go Nationals, beat the Braves. Although my nephew Tom is a huge Braves fan, so he's probably watching today and rooting for the Braves. So anyhow, not a pleasant day out there, kind of misty and yucky and chilly, and we're waiting for some spring weather. All right, folks, that's it for today's Dave TV, and don't forget to stay tuned.